Right, channel of light fluid. We are back with NeveN, and for the last time we're going to visit Frostfang. Yes, it's the end of the series. And you remember last time we left Eric chatting with Eric and so on. I wonder how that conversation turned out. As I meet the gaze of each of their selves, I begin to sing a song that holds special meaning for one of them, the one who chose Vekad. By the grace of the Lord of the Wild, we, his servants, have returned from our quest. All around me, the other Eric do the same, and the heat of my brand intensifies all over my back. I hear them recite the poem I sang to Melbjorn. I can't help but smile as my vision darkens and time seems to stand still. But my voice echoes once more. I look up at the stars with hope like a child, as our trophies shine red, the pride of our conquest. Suddenly, I'm back on the battlefield that the throne room has become. Around me, soldiers from both sides are engulfed in the sea of darkness that continues to spread, for at first everything seems to be unfolding in slow motion. I can see the despair in the eyes of those unfortunate to be swept away by the sharp beaks, while the others do their best to repel the inexorable advance of the devouring mass. Then suddenly, time resumes its normal course. I must put an end to this. With my rapier in hand, I freeze in time the various shields, corpses, and other objects sticking out of the darkness. Then I leap from one to the next, doing my best never to touch the shadows. And I begin to repeat the words left by the version of me who taught us everything, knowing that in other existences I'm speaking them at the very same moment. Let's sing for all that could have been, of what remains to be lived. Then I pick up Vekad's song again, while a shadow bird flies so close to my head that snatches a few tufts of fur from me. And as these words echo, I can see the luminous outlines of other rabbits appearing all around me. There are so many of them. Perhaps a good 50? Some fall into the shadows and vanish without a trace. Others are torn to pieces by invisible attacks. But I jump, I dodge, and I slice through whatever tries to reach me. Before me, what was once Lastra's avatar is now nothing more than the monstrous cocoon of shadow from which beaks and talons protrude. Sometimes one of the rabbits strikes one of these shadow limbs with a rapier, and it gets sliced through in my reality as well. All manner of songs materialise around me as we form a roaring chorus in the face of Lastra's murderous fury. Deep within me, I understand that some of these Eric know they're going to die, and yet they fight to the very end. So I too must give it my all. The problem is, the closer I get to my opponent, the fewer objects there are for me to stand on. Panicked, I look around for my next platform. And I see the monsters moving through the sea of shadows like sharks on the hunt for prey. But just as I think I'm facing my final moments, a voice echoes behind me. Keep going! The ceiling shakes and stones fall. Then the last moment, just as my paws are about to sink into the dark viscous substance, I leap and land on one of those stones. I don't even try to look behind me, but it seems the shadows are retreating to join the cocoon of Lastra's avatar. Then, between him and me, a gigantic raven's head at least 3 times my size emerges and tries to swallow me whole. However, before it can succeed, a massive column of ice pierces its eye and shadow claws seize its beak to hold it in place. Not so fast, monster. We'll take care of his shadows. As the head is torn in two, I rush between its two halves, barely managing to stay on the rocks that quickly sink into the dark tide. I see fewer and fewer rabbits around me, but those who remain continue to fight with a passion similar to my own. It is now clear that Lastra's shadows are no longer spreading. He's on the defensive. A burst of flame shoots over my head, and judging by its intensity, it is clear that it comes from Tenoch. The fire crashes against Lastra's shadow cocoon, which seems to vibrate as shrill screams escape from within. A brand that holds power only over shadows shouldn't be capable of such a thing. I'd like to be able to ponder what all this means, but the repeated assaults from Lastra's birds leave me no choice but to stay focused. So, as I keep moving forward, I avoid as much as possible the places where I see the other me dying. And every time I see another rabbit, I wonder if it's my own reflection, if this is where my life will end. As I'm just a few meters from the cocoon, I spot the shadow monsters that seem to be reshaping endlessly. Then the cocoon distorts slightly until it takes on a new shape, that of two foxes embracing each other while enveloping Lastra's avatar in their arms. Their lips move, and from them escape lamentations. "Please give us back our son. He's just a child." A small wave forms in a sea of shadow between the cocoon and me, then it gradually grows, moving toward me. And in just a few seconds it's already taller than me. Frantically I look around for an escape route. But there is only darkness. That's when a metallic clang echoes, and I see a large figure rush past me to take up a position in front of me. The wave crashes into the armoured titan and splits in two upon contact with his shield. To my surprise, the bear standing before me isn't torn apart, and the wave passes on either side of us. Then he turns to me and nods for me to follow him. "Forward!" He moves ahead, and I do my best to stick close to him as I see the shadows recede where his paws land. "What are you doing?" "Well, trust me." Slowly but surely, we move towards the fox that is the cause of all this chaos. But one last barrier stands between him and us. Shadows emerge from the dark pool, and all take on distinct fox-like forms. And they're branching sharp blades in our direction. "Can you block them?" "No." "Well, I doubt my powers are enough, even with my father's inkstone." So that's why he's able to catch up to me. But behind us it's gone quiet, so I doubt we'll get any help from that side. The shadow foxes aren't moving, they're just watching us. At least until I spot the other Eriks rushing past me to charge them. But the rabbits seem to pass right through them as if they weren't there for a moment. Then, to my great astonishment, small scratches begin to form in the shadows. And those scratches turn into cuts, then tears. Do you see that? "What's going on?" "No idea." But I don't have time to wonder. The shadows are disintegrating before my eyes, and they're the only obstacle between Lastra and me. So I charge, blade in hand, and the cries of the two foxes holding the avatar grow louder. "Mercy! Spare him!" No, I can't stop now. Melbjorn follows close behind, shielding me from the shadows spreading at my paws. Then he drops to his knees and raises his shield. "Climb on!" Without hesitation, I do as he says, and once I'm on the bear's shield, he propels me straight toward Lastra. And, blade thrust forward, I impale him, foreseeing how the swords pierce him, leaving their marks on his body before they vanish. Following that, the shadows holding the avatar disintegrate, and lets out a groan of pain as his weakened gaze meets mine. Then he and I crash to the ground, and do my best to keep my blade in his body to make sure he's truly dead. When we reach the ground, he's not moving anymore. Not even a breath escapes his lips. But I stay there and watch, waiting for the slightest sign of life. After a few seconds, Melbjorn's hand snaps me out of my trance, and I find myself trembling, tears streaming down my face. It's over. I blink, finding it hard to believe. Is he really dead? Is this finally the end of my troubles? Then an intense pain sears my back as my brand burns like never before. Eric! Thankfully, the prince is there to support me, otherwise I'd have collapsed to the ground. His voice echoes in my ears, but I struggle to understand what he's saying. As I look around us, I notice the shadows haven't completely dissipated yet. And a thought crosses my mind when I realise that no one else can see us. I can make things easier for him. Melbion, your axe. Without waiting for him to hand it to me, I yank it out of his hand. What are you doing? You can barely stand. Get some rest. Under Melbjorn's questioning gaze, I ram his weapon into the fox's corpse, letting out a growl as I hear the sound of his flesh being torn apart. What? And when we're finally joined by Gillian, Furl, Astrid and the other warriors, I grab the prince's arm and lift it into the air with what little strength I have left. The prince has defeated the Avatar. I then give a weak smile to Melbjorn, who is doing his best to contain his astonishment. Before I can hear him say anything, I collapse to the ground, and darkness overtakes me. When I wake up, I find myself in the damp cavern that has, unfortunately, become all too familiar to me. Then the voice of my sinister host echoes in my ears. I didn't think we'd see each other again so soon. As I get to my paws, I look around in confusion when I don't see Tess. Or rather, Assur, now that I know his real name. But for once, I think I have the upper hand. He doesn't need to find out I know a lot more about him than he thinks. The hyena suddenly appears in front of me. I can't help but jump as he watches me with his usual impassive expression. Am I dead? I know, you're just dreaming. So, you want me to be here, is that right? Indeed, I wanted to congratulate you on your victory. Sorry, I can't bring myself to be happy about it, especially knowing that all this could start a war. One thing at a time. That's an expression you should be familiar with, NeveN. Even though Assur's face shows no sign of amusement, I can't help but think that hundreds of years ago you might have been able to flash a slight smile after such a remark. Did you bring me here just to celebrate? I know, someone else requested your presence. Before I have time to say anything, I catch a white glint out of the corner of my eye. A little further on, I see Lastra's avatar sitting on a rock. My first instinct is to draw my rapier, but I realise it's no longer at my belt. I'm not here to fight. It's not as if I could anymore. He is indeed dead, but his last request was to talk with you. You wouldn't refuse the final wish of a tormented soul, would you? I look at them in turn, and something tells me that none of this is innocent. At least not coming from Tess's avatar. Alright, let's talk. The cave seems to be shifting on its own, and that the rock slides near the foxes. And when I turn around, there's not a single trace of a seal left. Well, I guess it's just between you and me then. I say this out loud, more to reassure myself than anything else. There's a good chance a hyena can hear us. Could he even read my thoughts? Is something wrong? I can't help but blink before shaking my head. No, everything's fine. After settling onto my rock, I stare at the fox with my arms crossed. That's strange. I just killed you and we're going to act like nothing happened? If it reassures you, I don't feel much anymore. Neither pain nor sorrow. But I do. Good people died because of you. And I'm sorry about that. But I doubt an apology will change anything for you. It won't. Each of my replies is curt. I'm well aware of it. I don't intend to go easy on him just because he's dead, even though it's obvious something was wrong right before I killed him. What do you have to say to me? Even though I don't feel anger anymore, I know that when I was alive, I had plenty of it. I feel like it's still holding me back a little in this world, so I want to make sure I leave in peace. So you just want to have peace of mind? No, I'll never have that. Right now, you see me as an injured Mechad, but the situation was more complicated than it seemed. I saw you kill Jahut, yes, and I won't mourn her. Neither will I. But if I can find a way to redeem myself while making things easier for you, I thought to myself, why not? The fox tries to offer me a pained smile before averting his gaze from me again. But you have to understand my motivations. Otherwise, my request might be taken the wrong way. I'm a bard, so I suppose it's also my job to listen to other people's stories. It's good you haven't forgotten yourself. The Macadians, they called me Lastra, just like you do. To them, I was just a function, a tool. But I never forgot my real name. I'm Dietmar. Quite the Frostian name. The perfect spy to infiltrate your ranks. Why are you fighting them exactly? I understood that they were holding your parents, but a sudden realization clicks in my mind. Now that I think about it, it's obvious. But those shadows at the moment I killed him, I imagine they were the ones embraced him in his final moments. Or at least the projection he created of them with his powers. I wanted to free them from the yoke of those tyrants, yes. Jahut represents only a tiny fraction of their power in Mechad, but she gave me the opportunity to escape my master's watchful eye, if only for a moment, by promising to strike at the heart of Frostfang at minimal cost. She's the one who orchestrated this whole operation, but she had no idea that an avatar grows more powerful by killing another. Does Mechad have no other avatars under its control? None who have told him the truth, anyway. I imagine they're all hoping to use this situation to break their chains, just like me. But to be honest, I don't know much about them, aside from the fact that Mandla, Garan's avatar, is quite deadly. They trained me to stand up to her in case they lost control of her. The problem is, she's had her brand for much longer than I have, so I could never have matched her. Not without a little help, anyway. At least this whole situation has given me some sort of information about Mechad. I guess my time isn't wasted. So what, the plan was to kill me and then betray them? They'd have executed your parents anyway. No, I intended to emerge as the sole victor from this conflict, with no witnesses to my betrayal. Then I'd return to Mechad to the applause of my masters, before eliminating them in turn with the power that your death and that of Argon's avatar would have granted me. But I guess that'll never happen now. One slippery rabbit became the grain of sand in your cogs. I can't help but smile sadly, and so does he. I have to admit that I gave up any desire to fight towards the end of our confrontation. What's the point? Even if I managed to save my parents, what kind of life could I offer them? Even if I were to rid us of all empires and all kingdoms, I know deep down that our nature would drive us to rebuild them. I would have become someone's tool again sooner or later, or another monster that would have left its mark on the history of our peoples. I know what it feels like to feel used. But I also believe there are good people out there, and it's our role to help them make this world a little bit better, even if it will always be far from perfect. An optimism I find difficult to share. I need to believe in it, otherwise I'll end up like you. The gods are cruel, giving us wings only to cage us. I feel like the fox's voice breaks as he speaks these words. Then he stands up and sighs, watching his fingers begin to fade away. I suppose it's time for me to go. Wait, what did you want to ask me? My parents will be executed, and I won't be there for them. So all I ask for is revenge. I don't know if... I'm not asking you to go to war against Mechad, but if it costs you nothing, and you have the chance to be a thorn in their side, make them understand that the gods are no more on their side than they are on ours. I wonder if all this isn't a Sue's goal, whatever that might mean. Despite everything I know thanks to the other Eric, I still don't have enough of the big picture to understand what's happening, even though I know something is wrong. But at the same time, it breaks my heart to refuse the last wishes of someone who's probably suffered his whole life at the talons of the Mercadians. If they come for me, I'll welcome with the tip of my blade. That way your power will be used to fight their ideals. I suppose it's reassuring to know that I'll continue to live on a little through you. Thank you, and good luck. With those final words, the fox fades away completely, leaving me alone once more. But not for long. A clear of the throat reminds me of the hyena's presence. May he find in death the peace he never knew in life. Is there really any peace to be found where he's going? I'd like to know that as much as you do. Quickly I run through everything I know about him now, just so I don't trip over my own trap. It's hard to distinguish between what comes from my own mind and what comes from the minds of others. Tell me, do you see all the dead who pass through here? Yes, though some catch my attention more than others. The last time I saw Vekad, he was fighting Lastra. Is he... No, he hasn't passed through my caves. That's reassuring, but it's not like I have a solution to what's happening to him anyway. I might know someone who could help you, if you ever manage to find Kaluthan's avatar. Right into my trap. I pretend to be surprised, even excited by this idea that he believes is new to me. Really? Find him first, then we'll talk. I nod, wondering what exactly stands to gain by helping Vekad. With that, it's time for you to go back to your people. Wait. Before I can say anything else, I find myself in bed, shirtless, feeling like my whole body is sore. And this time, there's no one watching over me. Judging by the sunlight streaming through my room, I must have dozed off all day yesterday. Damn it. As I struggle to get up, I find myself facing the mirror, and something catches my eye. The circles are on my back, now extend onto my shoulders and my sides. So it was true. As I turn to the side to get a better look at the brand, someone knocks on my door. I immediately grab a shirt and slip it on quickly before going to open the door, finding myself face to face with a young beaver. Mr. Royal Bard, I'm sorry to bother you, but I was told to knock if I heard anything. Oh, well, I guess I'm awake now. Prince Melbourne asked me to tell you that he's waiting for you in the royal bedroom. The boy looks a little lost and rather nervous, so I give him a grin as wide as I can manage, given my condition. Thanks, I'll tell him you did a good job. He smiles shyly before dashing off, which gives me time to look down the hallway where a whole bunch of Anthracan are bustling about. Once again they have to scrub the walls clean of all the blood that's been spilled. It's as if fate is out to get this castle. Silently, I make my way to the royal apartments, and along the way I can see eyes turning toward me. The fear I saw months ago is no longer there. It looks more like the kind of admiration. I wonder what stories have been told about our battle against the Avatar. At the end of the hallway, I spot Gillian sitting in the chair next to the door leading to the bedroom. He nods at me before using his sword to stand up. Sorry for the lack of ceremony, but I haven't fully recovered yet. Stay seated then. Otherwise I'll make Melbourne tie you to your bed for the next few weeks. The panther lets out a chuckle before relaxing in his chair. That was quite a fight. You did well. Better than I could have hoped, even. I surprised even myself, to be fair. But the glory belongs to the prince above all. Gillian gives me a silent look that speaks volumes. He probably knows the truth about what happened. So, do you know why he wants me here? After glancing down the hallway, the captain begins to whisper. Aeon is no longer fit to rule. That confrontation nearly killed him. But for now he prefers to keep it a secret so as not to add fuel to the fire. Well, it remains to be seen what I'm doing here, I suppose. Gillian shrugs before cracking his shoulders with a grunt. You're part of the family now, whether you like it or not. What's strange to hear? Especially since I'm far from sure the kings want me by their son's side, certainly not in the way I understand it. Alright, let's see what they want from me then. I tap the captain on the shoulder as I walk past him to enter the room. And get some rest. We've all earned a little break. I'll rest once things have settled down. Ah, Gillian, you and your unwavering loyalty. Once through the door, I find Melbourne sitting at his father's bedside, while Aeon lies here with a wet cloth on his forehead. Eric, I'm glad to see you can still stand on your two paws. The same can't be said for me. The tiger's laughter turns into a violent coughing fit as the prince shoots him a reproachful look. I thought King Lusk would be by your side. No, we moved him to a more peaceful place. And I'll be joining him there soon. But I wanted to thank you first, but also give you my approval. Melbourne seems just as confused as I am, as the tiger looks up at the ceiling and sighs. Do you think I'm a fool? I know it won't be easy for either of you, but I've been in your place. I've seen lords doubt not only Lusk and me, but also our legitimacy. How can two kings possibly establish a dynasty, after all? Aeon smiles faintly before turning his gaze to the bear. But I couldn't ask for a better heir. Father, please. I don't think I'm ready. No one is ever ready for this. Even once you're king, you'll keep learning. And you'll become Frostfang's leader in the coming days, since I'm abdicating in your favour. Will the nobility even accept it? This whole situation has exposed our vulnerability. Those who wanted to betray us already done so and died yesterday. The others will be persuaded, especially after seeing what Mecca did. Rely on Lastra to speak to them. She's talented and she has a good heart. Aeon pauses to catch his breath with difficulty before turning to me. As for you, Eric, you'll make sure Melbourne doesn't forget where he comes from. I'm certain I can count on you for that. Wisdom and humility are what a king needs most. I wish I'd known that much earlier in my life. I just nod, searching for the right words. I thank you for trusting me, my king. Call me Aeon. All right, Aeon. I know my son holds a grudge against Mechad, and I understand his grievances. But this is no time for war. Lusk and I have only just begun rebuilding Frostfang, and I'd like both of you to continue our work. They're already calling you Maelbjorn the Strong out there. Even the people will be clamouring for blood after what happened in the city. But blood is all this country has known for decades. The conversation I just had with Dietmar quickly comes to mind, not sure if I should share it with them. As I ponder the consequences this might have, I see Maelbjorn hesitate while slipping his hand over his father's.
It pains me to say this, for I will silence the voice of vengeance echoing in my heart. I will do it for Lusk, you, and also for Eriks.
The prince gives me a tender look, and I can't help but return it. Good. That's more than I could ask for. I feel tired. So off you go. You'll have work ahead of you. The tiger dismisses us with a weak flick of his wrist, so Maelbjorn stands up and walks me out. Gillian tries to get up too when he sees us leaving. The prince stops him by placing his hand on his shoulder.
Please watch over him.
The captain sighs. He seems to understand as well as I do that insisting will do no good. Then we walk away. And once we're alone in the hallway, the prince looks me up and down with a worried expression.
How are you feeling?
Not as well as I'd like, but better than I could hope for given the situation. And you?
It's hard to say. Seeing Aeon in this state makes me...
Maelbjorn pauses before letting out a sigh, the sad look on his face.
I resent myself for desiring power, now that it's within my grasp. And I don't feel like I've earned it either.
I'm not sure power is something you earn, at least not in the way you mean it. But if it can make you feel better, I'm certain you'll make a good king. Besides, my little sleight of hand should help you, right? I can't help but smile mischievously at the bear, who nods with an amused look.
That certainly had its effect. But those who know me best are also the ones who believe it the least.
Which works out well, since they're the ones you don't need to convince right away.
Well, let's hope you're correct.
I don't realise the prince is walking me back to my room till we're standing in front of my door. I spent some time in bed, so I hope you're not going to ask me to rest.
No. I just wanted a slightly more private place to discuss a few things.
I ask myself every question of the sun as I enter, invite Maelbjorn to follow me, before settling onto my bed. I'm listening.
Well, I know my father's given his blessing for the two of us, but
I think it's better for both of us if we keep this quiet for now. I get the feeling that a huge weight has suddenly lifted off the bear's shoulders.
I was afraid you'd take it the wrong way. Are you sure you'll be all right with it?
I've managed so far. I'll be patient.
It's just that, with all the instability in the country that needs to be resolved,
we can at least wait until things settle down. I then pretend to think it over before pouting. Come to think of it, King Eriks. That actually sounds pretty good. The prince can't help but laugh as he settles down beside me.
I don't know how you can still joke around after what happened, but I'm not going to complain.
We're already taking things so seriously, so I have to balance it all out. He nods silently before taking my hand in his and caressing it tenderly.
Don't ever change.
I have no intention of it, even if I become your king one day. By the way, will you need help with the ceremony?
Probably. I've never heard of singing at a coronation, but we'll need some music at the very least.
Aket and I can take care of that. Wait, how's Aket?
He's fine, don't worry. And before you ask, Tenoch is fine too. Losing his arm shook him up a bit, but it seems to have brought him closer to his brother, at least temporarily.
Really?
Even though their opinions differ greatly when it comes to governing Khazal, it was Mechad who wounded Tenoch, and Hualpa doesn't seem to have taken it very well.
Do you think that could spark a war?
No, but there are plenty of other ways to seek revenge.
The bear sighs, his gaze drifting straight ahead.
I made a promise, but Tenoch didn't.
Let's hope he doesn't do anything rash in that case. But you, do you already know what you plan to do for the kingdom?
Well, I have a meeting today with Astrid and Vol. Our small council has gotten even smaller. I plan to announce my upcoming coronation to them, to lay the groundwork. I'd like you to join us.
I can be there, but what use will I be?
Well, I think you underestimate how much Vol admires what you become, especially since yesterday. Even I'm not quite sure what I saw. There were those others.
You? I can't help but show my surprise. You saw them too?
They appeared briefly, but yes.
I'll have to tell you everything I saw. I still have a hard time believing it myself. But maybe I should leave out a few details, like the fact that the other me's are with different partners.
Well, I can't wait to hear your stories. I'd also like you to never touch an inkstone ever again. I know it was, unfortunately, necessary, but I felt the effects afterward, and I think it's even worse for you. After all, those stones are dangerous to those with normal brands, so I can't even begin to imagine what they might do to an avatar.
Don't you worry. I don't plan on using one again. Besides, I doubt a new avatar will come looking for me anytime soon.
Well, let's hope so.
I hesitate for a moment as I think back on what Dietmar told me. I can't hide this from Maelbjorn, but do I have to tell him everything? Speaking of avatars, I know this is going to sound strange, but Tess came to visit me in my dreams again, and he did it at the request of Lastra's avatar.
I should be surprised, but I admit I'm finding it harder and harder to doubt the crazy things that have happened lately.
If you knew about my conversation with the other versions of me...
You're able to talk to him?
Yes. His name is Dietmar, and... let's just say his plan was a bit complicated, but he held a grudge against Mechad.
And so, he attacked us?
He's after my powers and Tenoch's. I'll go into more detail when we have time. I just wanted you to know before your coronation that Mechad isn't necessarily behind his actions. The bear frowns. I know full well he doesn't like hearing that. After all, nothing justifies what our neighbours have done so far. They're the ones who broke Nanthracon to the point of making him desperate enough to hatch such a plan.
We'll discuss the kingdom's future at the council. I'll take your comments into consideration.
Alright. In the meantime, I was thinking I should check on everyone. At least those who survived.
You do well to. Many of our people need comfort.
Despite the bear's smile, I know full well he counts himself among them. If you need anything, I'm here. We need each other more than ever.
You heard my father. You must watch over me, and in return, as king, I must watch over my subjects.
Oh, so that's all I am to you, your subject? I can't help but chuckle as he smiles more frankly in turn.
You might be a little more special than that.
I sure hope so. The prince leans down and kisses my snout before standing up.
I'm glad to see you haven't lost your sense of humour. That's how I like you.
I guess I'll have to let you free for the time being. I know you're dying to get back to your paperwork.
Well, if only you knew. But stay ready for the council meeting. I'll send for you when the time comes.
He smiles at me one last time before leaving me to my own devices. I do my best to mentally organise my day. Tenok got hurt, so he must surely need to talk to someone. Raket is so gentle and precious. He's probably still in shock at this very moment. I can't even see them both at the same time since they both have things to tell me in private. But now that I think about it, everything I know thanks to the other versions of me, it's not really fair that I have such an advantage. It's as if I know them intimately, but without them even knowing it. I think I should be honest with them. After all, I know they're capable of keeping a secret. In the end, I decided to go to Tenok's place first. Losing his arm was terrible for him, and clearly unavoidable considering what I saw. After knocking on the door, it's not him who opens it, but Hualpa. Oh, hello. Hello, Eriks. Despite the lizard's reserve, I can tell something is bothering him. Am I interrupting? No, on the contrary. I think my brother will feel better with someone else around besides me. Then without another word he walks away, leaving the door open behind him. So I go in to find Tenok lying on his bed, staring gloomily at a piece of paper burning between his fingers. You look better than the last time I saw you. Oh, really? The sun almost took down 2 avatars in a single day. I'd say so, yes. The lizard can barely manage to smile. I have to admit it feels strange to see him in such a state. I could barely hold my own against Lastra, even with the help of all the other branded of Archon. Neither Melbjorn and I would be here without you. I'm not even talking about all the other people you saved in the throne room. I don't regret that, but if I'd been stronger, maybe I could have spared my arm. I thought that with all my training, I could at least stand up to another avatar. All I proved yesterday was my brother was right. I spent more time fooling around than preparing for my future. I hesitate for a moment, thinking about everything I've seen in my other lives. You know, when I used the Inkstone, I developed powers I didn't think I had. I don't plan on using Inkstones. I know their effects all too well. That's not where I was getting at. I've seen other Eriks who've lived lives different from mine, and it turns out one of them had fallen in love with you. This revelation draws a hearty laugh from the lizard, who sits up a little. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. We have a pretty similar nature. And I surely don't lack the charm needed to win your heart in this hypothetical other world. Tenok, listen to me for 2 seconds, all right? I'm being serious. I could never give you what other me gave you, but he managed to make you realise that you have true potential. He's even willing to let you go back to Ghazal if that meant you'd achieve your goal, if you could become Emperor despite the obstacles. That's what I thought was my destiny, yes. But I admit I have my doubts now. Slowly I walk over to one of the wood carvings adorning the room, and I take it gently between my fingers for examining it from every angle. The lines are so rough, it looks almost childish. And I know deep down what this thing means to Tenok. You should think about how far you've come since then. That other Eriks who was with you, I know what he'd have told you. He would have reminded you that up there, in the starry sky, there's a constellation shining brightly, and you must reach those stars at all costs. This time, the astonishment leaves Tenok speechless for quite a while. If he didn't believe what I've been saying up until then, I now have his attention. And that other me, did he manage to become Emperor? I don't know, but he was well on his way to becoming one. And even I was able to help that Tenok, I only pushed him in the right direction. I brought out the best in him. tell yourself you also have that strength within you, because deep down, you're the same person. The ambassador's gaze falls on his stump for a moment before returning to me. Did he lose it too? Yes. Even though he trained himself to the point of exhaustion, it didn't stop him from losing it. He already has a few ideas replacing it. Those few words finally bring a grin back to Tenok's face, and he sits up in bed to pat my head with his remaining arm. Always moving forward. That's typical of me, I suppose. Thanks for everything. You know we're going to miss you, right? And the feeling will be mutual. The upside is now I can write you letters. If I don't see 10 of them on my desk when I arrive at Gazal, don't even bother. I can't help but chuckle as I settle into his chair. I hope you won't miss our beautiful frozen lands too much. Oh, you know, I think I'll bring a little piece of it with me. Lady Astrid is coming with me to finalise agreements between our countries. Oh, really? Just for that, huh? Do you really know everything about me? More than you can imagine. In that case, I suppose you've seen everything I'm capable of. Tenok gives me a mischievous wink. I can't but burst out laughing. There really isn't a shred of shame in you. Absolutely none. But more seriously, I wish you much happiness with Astrid. I know she's a good person. And I hope I'm up to the task. But how are the others doing? Melbjorn is holding up, even though it's a lot. I realise he's not supposed to know about the coronation, so I hold back at the last moment. But I haven't visited anyone else yet, so you have the immense honour of being the first. You haven't even gone to see Akhet. Poor guy must be trembling right about now. I feel bad enough as it is, don't rub it in. I was planning to go see him right after you. Go on then, I'd hate for him to be alone a moment longer. Besides, I still have quite a few things to prepare for my departure. You can tell me I'm bothering you, You're bothering me. He laughs as he pushes me toward the door, and I can't but smile, sealing back on his paws. Will you be there for the cremation of our warriors? We should be able to see each other there. I'd like to, yes. I want to say goodbye to Semi. The lizard nods before sighing. Stay strong. We'll get through this together. With a small smirk, I give him one last, slightly pained look before walking away. I feel like I'm swinging from one emotion to the next at breakneck speed. The joy of victory is hard to shake, given the price paid. So I head toward the Falcon's room, and the door is open when I arrive. And just as I'm about to step inside, I come face to face with Akhet. Erik! Oh, you scared me. Sorry, that wasn't my intention. He has huge dark circles under his eyes, and his evasive gaze only confirms his nervousness. I was getting ready to come see you, but it looks like you beat me to it. The bird then steps back and invites me in before closing the door behind me. I would have come sooner, but I clearly needed some sleep. So do I. I can keep it short if you want to take a little nap. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. I'm the one who should be worried about you. The last time I saw you, you were surrounded by shadows charging at an avatar. Tears well up in the Falcon's eyes. I notice before he has time to hide them. It's all my fault. Don't talk nonsense. Jehud came for me. If I hadn't been here, she... This time Akhet really breaks down in tears. Then he buries his face in his talons. All those people are dead. Semi, her son. I go over to him right away to guide him to his bed. Then I hug him and pat him on the back. Hey, easy there, birdie. Mercadians came for a whole bunch of reasons. Whether you were there or not wouldn't have changed what they did. But you know what your presence did change? A whole bunch of people were moved by your songs. How can you know that? We've barely spoken lately. I know this is going to sound crazy, When I used the inkstone, I saw a whole lot of things that happened in other lifetimes. For a moment I hesitate. What should I tell him exactly? I'm afraid he won't take it as well as Tenok did. Semi never was able to tell you, not in this life. But she respected you. She saw herself in you, and that's probably what troubled her at first. And you found the right words to touch the hearts of many other people. I'd only say that one of those people is another version of me. It'd be too strange to say that someone who's practically a little brother to me, at least in this life. Listen, Eric, I can't even tell if what you're saying is true or if you made it up to make me feel better. Because what we went through is so crazy, but I want to be able to do more in this life, not in another. I was a coward. I should have killed Jehud when I had the chance. That might have made the situation even harder, you know? Or it might have made things better. What's the point? We'll never know now. The Falcon wiped away his tears while looking at me with a somberness I've rarely seen on his face. I don't think I deserve the title of Royal Bard. Not after all the things that have happened. Listen, if you want to leave, I won't stand in your way. But there are people here who appreciate your presence and who count on you. Me, for one. I wouldn't be here without you. And I wouldn't even be alive without you. I feel like I bring misfortune wherever I go. And so do I. I could just as easily think that all this happened because everyone wants my brand, you know? But instead, I focus on what these damn powers might bring to this world, and on what good I can do, even without them. Gently, I slip my arm around the Falcon's back to pull him a little closer to me. You and I are going to take that tour of the kingdom I promised you so many times. We're going to bring a little joy to this country. We're going to do our best to make sure the world hears our music. Do you think people still have room for music in their hearts? We must all be as afraid as we are of the thought that Frostfang and Mechan could be going to war once again. And our role is to make them forget about it, even if only for a few hours. I'll no longer be NeveN's avatar, and you'll no longer be the Mercadian bird. We'll be the royal bards, as we always should have been. A faint smile appears at the corner of Aket's beak as he nods. You're right. Maybe it'll never be enough to heal the harm that's been done, but that shouldn't stop me from trying. That's the Aket I like best. And you know what? On the road I'll teach you how to fight. Oh, are you sure that... It'd be better for our songs, don't you think? The legend of two royal bards who cross swords and sing for the widow and the orphan. The Falcon let out a chuckle, shaking his head. That's ridiculous. But I like your ridiculous ideas. It's a deal, then. I stand up, feeling somewhat satisfied that I managed to cheer him up while he stretches gently. I think I'll take your advice. A little nap won't hurt. I'll see you later then. Do you think you can make it to the cremation ceremony? Yes, I'd like to be there. I have to. We exchange one last glance. A sad one, but with a hint of determination. We both want to be there for those who have fallen, even if it will be difficult. With a sense of melancholy in my mind, I head back down the hallways, getting lost in them for a moment just to reminisce about the good times, I guess. In any case, I try until the time of the council meeting arrives. I almost expect to run into Edwine around a corner, or even see Rowan guarding the council chamber door while bantering with Semi. My throat tightens, and tears well up in my eyes at these thoughts. But I do my best to pull myself together, and wipe the tears before stepping through the door. Well, Astrid and Mailby are already there, chatting about this and that, as I take my seat and smile at them. Whereas in the past I might have gotten a dirty look from the boar and the poodle, then they watch me with some sort of reverence.
Good. Now that everyone is here, we can begin. My father, Aeon, wishes to initiate the transfer of power.
I was clearly the only one who had been informed, judging by the looks on their faces. Without meaning to disrespect you, Isn't this a bit early? It might be wiser to wait until the kingdom regains some stability first.
I understand your doubts, and I share them. But my fathers are no longer fit to rule, given the state they're in, and I'd at least like to lift the weight of the kingdom from their shoulders.
Ever since Lastra's avatar died by your hand, the nobility seem to regain some confidence in your abilities, even if they still have many questions.
The temple definitely sees Eriks as a representative of the gods now. They have no doubts whatsoever. It's gotten to the point where even representatives from other countries wish to meet him.
I'd like to be able to satisfy their expectations, but it's not a risk. The avatar of Lastra came all this way for me, and other assassins might follow.
We're not involving Eriks in the kingdom's foreign policy. He's done more than enough for us. That's another matter entirely. Let's stick to the coronation for now. I'm open to your suggestions, but I don't see any alternative.
Maybe we could propose some sort of compromise, some kind of regency. The kings would officially retain power, but the council would make the decisions.
The idea doesn't seem to please Melbjorn entirely, judging by the frown on his face. He doesn't speak up, but appears to be considering it. It's a good idea, but shouldn't it be the prince who decides rather than the entire council? After all, it could give him time to learn how to rule by taking on the role directly, without immediately raising questions about his legitimacy. As long as we have a say in his decisions, I wouldn't see any problem with that. And the transition will be smoother that way, since he'll have been acting as king for a long time before his coronation.
Hopefully the absence of my fathers won't be too obvious. Lusk wasn't the type to appear in public, but Aeon.
He'll have to appear in their place. The people need to meet their new sovereign.
I agree, and I actually have a proposal to make about that. Melbjorn looks surprised, though he hides a slight smile as he questions me with his eyes.
Well, I'm listening.
Akhet and I would like to organise a grand tour of the kingdom. The idea would be to have several bards with us, but also scholars, so we can bring both joy and education to the countryside. Put like that, I understand if it sounds a bit naive. I know that years of work lie ahead of me. But I am the royal bard. If I don't take this on, no one else will. It would be a wonderful opportunity to reconnect the capital with the rest of the country, Melbjorn. Your father has been practically shut away in Frostfang since the Civil War.
I can mobilise the sages of the temple to support your efforts. It will draw crowds to know the avatar of NeveN is reaching out to the common folk.
All right. You can start making preparations for a grand royal tour of the kingdom, Eriks. I think we all need a little lightheartedness in these troubled times.
I can't help but grin at Melbjorn, who's watching me with obvious affection. Thank you so much. Akhet will be delighted to hear this.
Astrid, I trust you to watch over the capital in my absence.
It would be an honour, my prince, but how long will it take to prepare for this tour? I also have a request to make. Probably several months with little help. Why? I'd like to accompany the Ambassador Tenok to Kazal. He's leaving in a few days. Oh, I'd already forgotten she was coming with him. But I should be back in time to take care of Frostfang, even if it takes months. I plan to be gone for a few weeks at most, if you'll allow it, my prince.
Well, that's no reason to stop you from doing it, Astrid. Go ahead. I need someone I can trust to help us solidify our ties with our neighbours. Did you have something to say, Vol?
Just as preparations for the cremation are ready. I count on all of you to be there.
Of course. It will be difficult, but necessary.
I simply nod silently, gulping so hard it hurts my throat. It is our duty. After a moment of solemn silence, the prince nods with a sigh.
Good. We have work ahead of us. Good luck to everyone.
After Astrid and Vol have left, the bear rubs his eyes wearily.
I hope they'll trust me one day, just as I trust them.
I think they already do. They're probably just hoping things will get better.
Like all of us. But I can't just hope. I have to act.
What do you plan to do once you have the authority?
First, I need to find capable individuals to surround myself with. We've lost friends. People who are irreplaceable.
It all might be a chance to meet some interesting Anthracans. Who knows?
I'm also counting on Lastra to find loyal and capable nobles in the countryside.
She has a knack for that. After all, she's interested in Tenoch. The prince and I exchange a mocking glance. Then he stands up and stretches.
Are you ready?
I hope so. I know I'm not, and neither is he, probably. But together we head to the courtyard, where the funeral pyre stands. It's too soon to see this again. I feel like I'm reliving the same situation over and over, as if my brand would torture me to make me understand that some things are inevitable. On the pyre, the bodies of Semi and her son have been placed side by side, and even Vrace is there, despite his political views. Their wounds have been tended to, and they've been dressed in clean clothes for the occasion. In the end, we're all equal in the face of death. 3 branded of Argon step forward to set the pyre ablaze, and Tenoch joins them, shooting flames from his single arm. If he was allowed to do this in our kingdom, it's because he must have been very insistent. He wants to show us that we're not alone in this ordeal. As the temperature rises, I blink, trying to convince myself there's a sudden rush of heat affecting me. But deep down, I know I'm trying to hold back the tears welling up in my eyes. Then I feel something touch my fingers, and look into my side. I see the prince's hand clasping mine, as the same tears stream down his face. And on the other side, Akhet rests his head on my shoulder, sobbing. All my emotions come flooding out. I burst into uncontrollable tears as I hold the 2 Anthracans standing beside me. And I let myself sink into grief again and again. Watching Semi, she leaves to join Tess by her son's side. She was a warrior, a confidant, and even at times a mother to us. No one will ever be able to replace her. I try to find some kind of peace by listening to the crackling of the flames. But at the same time, I feel like I want to run away from here to escape this reality. But it's my duty to stay. To say goodbye. And above all, not to forget all those who died protecting me. After several long minutes, nothing remains of the bodies, and the crowd finally begins to disperse. Then the prince's voice, still somewhat hoarse with emotion, rings in my ears.
Thank you for being here.
We all needed it. Akhet steps before the prince. I don't think I've ever seen such conviction in his eyes. Not in this life, anyway. Semi was a Mercadian, a true one, and she was driven from her home. Promise me that we'll bring some of her ashes to Mechad one day. Melbjorn seems surprised by this request, and he glances at me at the corner of his eye before replying.
I'll do everything in my power to ensure she can see the land of her ancestors once again.
The falcon's stern demeanour seems to melt away very quickly as he nods. Thank you. Then he walks away at a swift pace, and I can't help but look questioningly at the prince.
What? I can't in good conscience refuse such a request.
You do understand what it means, right?
There are other ways to achieve this besides going to war. I know people capable of smuggling an urn across the border. I owe her that much.
I suppose you're right.
Don't worry. I know how sensitive this issue is. Now, you'll excuse me. I'm going to make some preparations. We have work ahead of us.
All right. See you later. The prince nods before leaving me with the few Anthracans who are still here. In the distance, I can see Tenoch staring thoughtfully at the pyre while his lips move, so I go over to him. Is everything all right? I was saying a prayer in Khazalian. And what does that prayer say? I wish them a safe journey to the stars. I'm sure they'll shine brightly up there.
It's a beautiful way to say goodbye. I was thinking of writing a song for Semi and her son. They deserve to be remembered. I'm sure they'll hear it from Tess's kingdom. I'm not so sure about that. I hope so. I didn't have time to say a proper goodbye to Semi. From what I know about her, she would have wanted us to fight for her ideals. That's true. She's one of the few people I knew who understood exactly what she wanted. I wish I had the same certainty. Me too. Maybe it'll come with age. Who knows? The lizard smiles at me before pulling me by the shoulder with his able arm. I let myself be drawn close to him for a moment. Do you think we'll see each other again someday? Of course, when I become emperor. It seems my little speech quickly restored his motivation. All the better. At least I'll have helped one person today. Well, I'll leave you to your prayer. Take care of yourself, Tenoch. You too, Eric. I'm counting on you to look after Melbjorn. After I nod, the Gazadian prince winks at me, and we part ways once again. Having to say so many goodbyes at once is painful. But at least I have a chance to see him again, however slim it may be. The days pass and the time comes for the Mercadian delegation to depart. I dressed up for the occasion, putting on the outfit Melbjorn gave me for his birthday. And by my side, the prince, Akhet and Gilliant stand on the ramparts to wave them goodbye as they pass through the great stone gate. Tenoch and Astrid wave back at us, while Walpole pretends not to have seen us. As I begin to move away from the castle, a song from another of my lives comes to mind. Akhet, can you use your brand on my voice? Oh, yes? Then as I begin to sing, I feel my words carried by the wind. Throughout the season stories awaken. Oh, they are far from being forsaken. The wind carries our dreams to the distant shore, where myths continue to blossom even more. Even from here I can see the big grin on Tenoch's face when he hears me, and then his reply comes in the form of a huge burst of flames that shoot up into the air to form a dragon, to the applause of the onlookers.
A new chapter begins.
Do you think he'll manage to become emperor?
I have no doubt.
Me neither. The prince then turns to me and brushes the dust off my shoulders with a smile.
I hope you'll wear this out of the royal tour, because it looks absolutely stunning on you.
I didn't expect to be complimented so publicly by him, and it brings a shy smile to my face. Of course, we need a royal outfit for a royal tour after all, don't we? Wait, is it confirmed? Are we really going to do this? I might have left that detail out. I wanted to surprise you. The falcon throws himself into my arms, then bows before Melbjorn. Thank you, my prince. It'll be splendid.
Come on, we've gone beyond the need for protocol, Akhet.
In the distance, Gazadian delegation is now nothing more than a tiny dot in the middle of the city. And somewhere deep down, I can't wait for it to be our turn to leave this castle. I need some fresh air. I still have a few things to take care of. I can fully immerse myself in the preparations for our road trip. I've done my best to put them off until later. First I knock on Sven's door, and he opens it, looking at me with a puzzled expression. If it's not today's hero, what do you want? You remember I promised to talk to the kings about the help you gave us in catching Edwine? Yeah, so what? Akhet and I need bards for the royal tour, and something tells me you want to quit your job as a jester. It's not like I'm the reason for his current situation. What, just like that? And the kings agree? Yes, but I might have lied about one thing. It's not a request. The prince is ordering you to come with us. The weasel's face lights up immediately, even though he does his best to hide it. No need to say it twice. Now, if you don't mind, I need to warm up my voice. The door closes for a moment in front of me, then opens again, and Sven smiles at me awkwardly. Oh, and, thanks, I guess. Then it closes again, and I can't help but let out a sigh.
Fair enough, I suppose. I can hardly hold it against him after he's done so much for me. My next destination takes me down a different path, a much more painful one. Vigo is out there, I know it, and I have to go find him. I ask him Melbjorn for permission to leave, head out into the streets of Frostfang, find the capital in ruins, with a few guards by my side. Despite the intervention of Aeon and his warriors, the battle was fierce. Buildings completely collapsed, their wooden roofs entirely consumed by flames. I hope with my heart that Erwin and my former companion survived this chaos. The inn. I tried to remember where it was. And I finally find it in ruins, with its owner sitting in front, staring at the ground with a desperate look. Hello. Hey. I have a question for you. As I say these words, I hold out a pouch full of gold to the old Anthracan. He takes it with a trembling hand before looking around. I'm listening. I'm looking for a fox who looks a little sad, and a wolf with a brand of argon on his face. I know they were staying here. Are they still alive? I fear his answer, given the state of the building. But I'd still rather know the truth. They left several days ago already. Thanks, that's reassuring. You wouldn't happen to know where they went, by any chance? No idea, sorry. It's okay. At least they're still alive. Good luck with the repairs. The priests of Garan should be arriving soon. The old Anthracan nods weakly, so I leave him to his thoughts. Rather than heading straight back to the castle, I decide to make the most of my little outing to clear my head as I wander through the alleyways. Life seems to already return to normal despite the destruction. The common people are working tirelessly to rebuild their homes, even without the help of the Branded of Garan. I retrace the path taken by my other selves, heading towards the now collapsed entrances of Bastard's Alley, or the Khazalian restaurant where Tanoch took me. Along the way, I even buy one of those Mercadian sweets that I know I hate. But at this moment, even that awful taste is worth experiencing. In the weeks that follow, my life is consumed by preparations for the tour. I spend what little free time I have with Melbjorn, and I take the opportunity to tell him everything I've seen thanks to the Inkstone. After all, who knows if some of this information might be useful to him in the future? And finally, the day of our grand departure arrives. We leave the capital, entrusting it to Astrid, who's returned from Gazal with mixed results, as well as to Vol, who has completed the city's reconstruction. A whole merry band of bards is ready. For the occasion, I brought back some of the participants from the Royal Bard contest. And Melbjorn as well as Gillian are with us, accompanied by 100 seasoned warriors to protect us from the few bandits still plaguing the region. Between each stop, I train Akhet in sword fighting, and I feel like I'm stepping into Erwin's skin as I teach him how to hold his weapon properly. The tour takes months, but every village we visit is a wonderful opportunity to teach the children, both by passing on the songs of our ancestors, by teaching them to read and write. At first, Melbjorn seems a little reluctant to let people approach him, but he quickly learns to mingle with the crowd when he sees how happy they are to have him among them. And when we're alone together, he even agrees to take a few dance lessons, despite my teasing. In public, Akhet and I make the perfect duo on stage. I even manage to perform a duet with Sven when he's not busy flirting with the local ladies. And every time I take great joy in singing for young and old alike and the entranced gaze of the bear I love. In this cosy atmosphere, I finally feel like a bard. But as the end of our tour approaches, during one of the many shows I performed, I see Gillian lean forward and whisper a few words to the prince, who only hear thanks to my big ears. The slaves of Mechad are rising up. And in that moment, I swear I can see Melbjorn smile.
He who thought the gods had sentenced him to perdition, for whom the crown became the chief ambition, where others saw Bard's armor cold and strong. their harsh judgment wrong. Thus came the day he met the minstrel fair, a humble rabbit whose light he learned to share. Beneath the crowd's unyielding heavy strain, the noble warrior found his heart again. When he had bent the quill to serve his will, and learned through pain the art of strength and skill, the bard learned of the fate no prince could flee, that weighed upon his lover's destiny. Through marbles moved whispers in disguise, their claws were steeped in treachery and lies. Is it the ancient blood or the merchant's master? No trust survives to scheme a disaster. But suddenly blew the wind of devastation. Peace was but a dream, a fleeting temptation. Sullivan's avatar, ultimate predator, left death and chaos in every corridor. The hunter vanquished, the squirrel fell. Did the kingdom dodge that screw knell, and burst forth a storm of ruin and blight, an abyss of despair and dark, endless night. All the enemies of the Fang had joined as one, hoping the kings would forever be undone. The avatar, living shadow in their array, was slain, and triumph crowned the brave that day. Melbjorn the strong, his spirit full of spite, for a time observed the customs of the right. With the bard by his side, he would tour his domain, yet in his heart revenge was meant to reign.
That was NeveN, or Melbjorn's route at least, as he'll have updates for Tenoch and Vekad, and then NeveN will be completely finished. But it is NeveN finished on the channel. But don't despair, there will be more from the team. There is a new VN coming out for them. I don't know exactly when, but you can join their Discord and find out. Also support them on Patreon. It's going to be set in Mechad, and we have a totally different cast of characters. So I can guarantee you when we do the videos, one of them will sound surprisingly like Eriks. Yeah, the one who narrates it, I know, yes. So yeah, look out for that. I'm not sure when it will be, but I'm looking forward to doing that one because I've been very impressed with this whole VN. I love the setting. It makes a nice change to have this kind of sort of medieval, even dark ages kind of thing going on. And then the world building, we're hearing so much about Mechad and Kazal and places like that. We don't see them, but they're there. And who knows, we could see a third VN set in Kazal and maybe a fourth back in NeveN, or travelling around. We can resolve all these stories. I'm just giving you ideas, guys. If you want to write those, go ahead. I'll quite happily narrate them. But yeah, we definitely have the Mechad one coming up.
Yeah, so it's great world building, and this whole idea of the gods and the brands. I mean, any society that is polytheistic is far more interesting than one with just single gods. They're boring and generally pretty bloodthirsty, we have to say. But there are all these different gods that appear in the different aspects of them, and the fact that you get brands is so fascinating that off the top of my head I can't remember coming across anything like that before. It may be around, I don't know, but what they've done with this story is just so impressive with all that. And also the idea of the forgetful ones, as we talked about before a while ago. Yeah, they're actually being kind, maybe, by not branding people. Yeah, and then look what NeveN went and did. I can't help thinking it's going to come back somewhere in the future, what NeveN got up to and Eriks' powers with time. But who knows, I'm not the one writing this. And the characters in this, I'm very impressed with all of them. I've been reading a little bit of the other routes, haven't had time to get caught up with them yet. But I'm enjoying all of them. If not, I'm not going to do them on video, so please don't bother asking. And once everything's up and done, I'll be reading a lot more of that, see how things go in those routes. And the side characters, I'm still upset that Semi and Rowan died. I mean, it's quite a surprise for me that happened. I wasn't expecting it. But it is nice to see Aeon and Lusk have actually survived. I was worrying about them and how's Melbourne going to end up as king, as we can have to kill them off. But no, it's all gone a much nicer way for that. So I do feel bad for them with the injuries they've suffered. That hopefully they can make a full recovery. But yeah, that's a good thing. I care about all these characters. And even Sven, I was hoping nothing too nasty would happen to him. And he's like that. Okay, some of the characters something nasty could happen to. And quite often it did. Though Dietmar didn't deserve what happened to him. I actually feel sorry for him. He never chose to be the avatar of Lastra and have all this go on. Or what the Macadians did with him. So yeah, I like it when you can have some sympathy for, I can't even call him a villain, but main antagonist in that section of the story. Same for Vekad. They don't ask what happened to him. So that's always good. You can have sympathy for characters. You enjoy them. You want to find out what happens. You care about them. And I can think of one major fantasy series, books and TV, that I gave up very early on in the books because every character is so unlikable or so I don't care about you at all, people, that I couldn't even read it. Whereas NeveN, unfortunately, will never be as well known as that particular series. It is so much better with the writing. You might have figured out what I'm talking about, but you can ask me in the comments if you want to know. Yeah, props to all the team, all the names you'll see popping up in a bit when I finally run the credits for NeveN in full. And yeah, thanks to all them for doing all the work on this. And just keep saying I'm so impressed with it. And also something else which I should mention, we're right at the end here. The whole structure, not of the novel, it's good, but especially this last update. I was expecting, okay, we'll kind of have this big fight, bit of a coda just to wrap things up, and we're done. No, we got done with that fight. Then we had the chat in Tess's cavern there, and just seeing everything else and actually getting to follow up with Aket and Tenoch and see how Astrid and Vol are doing. And just that chat with Melbjorn, finding out what Aeon wanted. I haven't seen Lusk, but that's fair. They moved him out of the way. And then we see what's going on in the future with this tour. It leaves us in a very hopeful spot, but also it's a relief to actually see everyone seeing how they're doing. Obviously, it's not easy for anyone, but they're getting through it. They'll be doing well. Yeah, I just like that whole structure. We had a lot more after what some people have treated as the big finale. No, there's a lot more to see, and I'm really happy it ended this week. Yes, I could definitely do with more NeveN. Most of these VNs I could always do with more of them. Especially here NeveN, I would like to see more, but I love the way this ended. And I'm quite content with the way it's ended. I can see what's going on in the future. Everything's looking more or less okay, though. It's not going to be perfect for them. Well, slaves of Mechad are in the uprising. So I think we may be returning here in the future to see what's going on. But anyway, yeah, I will definitely be here with the new VN set in Mechad when that gets its first public release. So, like NeveN, we'll be doing one release at a time as they come out, because I had a few to work off when I started this till I caught up. So look out for them, and if you can, support them on Patreon. The links are always in the description. And speaking of Patreon, as always, I want to say a big thank you to all my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. Yeah, the economy's not in great shape at the moment for pretty much any of us, and the fact you choose to give me money to help me buy the new microphone, which will be here for the next video, and just generally running the channel and everything, it's so helpful. And my top patrons are Omar, Spiderling, Samuto, Tiger Cup, Ara Amaterasu, Alan Mayer, Greylock, Lark Huskерton, Graces Yevon, Andy Peng, Aaron Fox, Bastian, Bieker, Nova Starburn, Ryan Hall, Gobers Visser, Exac, Grizz, Harvest Mouse Productions, Evan King, Kartek, and Matt Kenya. And thanks to all of you for watching this whole series. I hope you've enjoyed watching as much as I've enjoyed making them. And also, again, thanks to the whole NeveN team. You've done an amazing job here, and I can't wait to see the next one. Until next week, bye for now.
He who thought the gods had sentenced him to perdition, for whom the crown became the chief ambition, where others saw God's armor cold and strong, he strove to prove their harsh judgment wrong. Thus came the day he met the minstrel fair, a humble rabbit whose light he learned to share. Beneath the crowd's unyielding heavy strain, the noble warrior found his heart again. When he had bent the quill to serve his will, and learned through pain the art of strength and skill, the bard learned of the fate no prince could flee, that weighed upon his lover